Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new series of career mode, QPR career mode that is. We are at episode 10, I think it is. I always say the number of the episode and usually it's the wrong number, and then in the comments you guys literally just fist me and let me know about 300 times that I said the wrong episode. So let's hope I said the right one. Episode 10 it is. And yeah, so we got a game up against Blackpool here. We are in the Capital One Cup. A cup I hope to go, you know, a little quite far in. I don't expect myself to win it. It would be fantastic to win, but I do have to be realistic, and there was obviously some really class sides in this cup, so chances of winning are relatively slim, but it would be nice to at least you know, progress pretty far into the league, into the tournament. But I've got this game up against Blackpool. I go into it very much expecting to win. You know, their team, you know, they've got a good team, but definitely a team I consider myself, you know, better than, and one I should be able to beat. And I wouldn't say comfortably, but I should be able to beat them, you know, with a bit of confidence, I suppose. But this game actually proved a lot trickier than I thought it was. It was most certainly a battle of the midfield. And, I mean, I get so lucky there. A little bit of being a little bit unlucky initially by hitting it off the crossbar. But Cisse managed to follow up and put it into the back of the net. Cisse, you know, he's not a young guy. He is pretty old. And that's something I have to keep in mind, you know. I've got the likes of Matux who can only really reach the potential of 74. That's what I've been told. So I've got him, and I've got Cisse, who is getting, you know, he's getting old, and he's on the way down instead of the way up, despite him actually being in fantastic form. You know, that doesn't mean he's not playing well. I'm just saying that he's not going to be improving. The only way he can go really is down the way, which is a bit of a shame because Cisse for me has been a god and definitely my big goal scorer. Anyways, I go into full time there, 1-1 with Blackpool, and a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you. You know, I'd expected to finish that game by 90th minute easily, you know, a 2-1, a 2-0, that sort of scoreline, but it wasn't meant to be, and that was slightly disappointing for me, and ended up going all the way into extra time, and the 120th minute being the minute that I am so scared of. And as you guys can see there, he almost gets a goal in the 120th minute, but with no goals scored in extra time, it meant we were off to penos. Check that ginger-haired guy on the left-hand side. What a soulless monster. I'm joking. Calm down, you all. Anyways, as you can see, you know, they definitely had the more possession, and that doesn't necessarily mean they deserve to win, but they were definitely in control of the game quite a bit more than I was. And we went down to penalties, and they squeezed one in the bottom left there. So disappointed for Julio Cesar, as I felt as though he definitely deserved to put that, you know, at least save it. But 2 down the middle, I was 2 green light, and this guy fluffs it up, went for that Pirlo chip. No salt with those chips whatsoever, but then I do the unthinkable, and Tarat fluffs his up, and we were both there with one red blot, whatever you want to call it. We both missed at least one, but I was determined, you know, just to pick my spot, and I decided, you know, if I can at least put it in the corners, I'll be golden. Keeper dives the same way, the correct way again, but no results, and I was just determined. As long as I put mine in the back, then that's all that mattered, you know. The saving all came down to luck, but it really mattered to me that I put mine in the back. But he does a stutter penalty, and he pays for it as it comes off the inside of the post. And QPR, we go through by the skin of our teeth, so we were very lucky there. And we move on through to the quarterfinals, I believe it is. I can't actually... Oh yeah, we move on through to the quarterfinals, which is all fine and dandy. Get our tournament prize money of a total of $3,000. You know, three and a half grand, and I could have done with a little bit more. You know, that might pay for my bus journey home for a lot of these guys. Anyways, Barry there, pretty pleased he's playing with QPR. You know, he's happy, and that's important that he's happy because I do notice that when players have a, you know, a higher morale and things like that, they tend to play a lot better on the pitch. Anyways, up against another big side, and we're back to the league now. We're up against Arsenal, the Gunners. I had to make a few adjustments to the squad. Matux, unfortunately, still injured. Didn't really know what to do with him. I'm definitely missing his presence, you know. His 1-2 passing with Cisse was absolutely key. And I am definitely noticing he's missing a little bit, you know, which is a bit of a shame. But I believe, you know, QPR, they're a good side, and what's very strange about my team is that, you know, when we come up against sides like Southampton, we'll go ahead and we'll get battered 5-0. But if we come up against a side like Arsenal, who are really actually quite good. You know, we put up a decent fight, and just as I say that, Podolski there puts in a decent header at the back post and puts them 1-0 up. But being the fighting Rangers that we are, we weren't going to settle for nothing, and they're a very worrying moment in the back four. Defenses are feeling a little bit risky. That's something I'm looking to improve on in the January transfer window. But like I said, the Rangers, they weren't willing to just, you know, take it as it is, and a decent strike there, and I believe there was a bit of a deflection, but Anton Ferdinand with the goal from just outside the box made for some awesomeness. 1-1 at halftime. As you guys can see, some of the other scores: 2-1 Liverpool in the Merseyside derby. They were winning 2-1 over Everton, and an absolute lifeline. How he missed that, you know, right in front of the goal, free header. Literally, it would have been harder to miss it than it was to score, but I was given a complete lifeline, and that saved me 2 points. So I managed to come away with 1 point, you know, away at the Emirates, 1-1 against Arsenal, which is pretty much a top 4 side. Very pleased with that, very happy, and you know, no complaints with I have to admit, I got lucky on several occasions there, and Anton Ferdinand's wonder goal from just outside of the box, which I'm pretty sure had a bit of a deflection going on, but that's just the way the cookie had crumbled. If we take a look, I'm pretty sure, you know, we're still middle of the table. It would be nice to start picking up some more 3 points. I feel as though, you know, we'd be missing out on the big 3 points, but, you know, we're not near the relegation zone, which is important. We are very much a mid-table. As you guys can see on the right, we're currently in 10th place. It's not too hard to go and progress on. Cisse there in 5th place as far as goal scorers go. I think he had 5 goals there. But top 4 is looking pretty nice. Chelsea sitting pretty. 2 Manchester teams in 3rd and 4th. But my next game was up against the Stoke side, aka Route 1 galore. They've actually got a game today, Stoke versus Liverpool. I'll be tuning into that. But, you know, having to make some more substitutions, trying to just rotate everyone about, make sure, you know, no one feels left out, and so their happiness essentially decreases. So it was important that I made sure everyone was happy, as Larry and Mattox, again, missing out this game due to his injury. I didn't want to risk it. But a nice little free kick there, a tactical one from Stoke. One player runs over, and they just managed to sky it just over the top. So that was that. Unfortunately, a ball didn't manage to go through. Just played it straight back out. But Stoke, you know, they're a good side. They've got quite a bit of squad depth. You guys will see they bring on Charlie Adam later on in the game, which they made the transfer obviously from Liverpool, and I think he very much suits the Stoke playstyle. You know, he's good at passing, and he can definitely play those lofted balls into the likes of Crouch, who is obviously Stoke's striker. Like you guys can see here, Jones and Palacios comes on, and Kentwin Jones in this game is a monster. He really is. I played him in Ultimate Team, fantastic player in Ultimate Team, and once again a very good player in career mode. And Crouchy there, big Crouchy, takes a shot at the near post, and honestly, career mode near post goals seem to be a very common feature. And look at that! I couldn't have gotten more lucky. A fantastic diving header. But it goes off the post, and my keeper manages to get onto it. But there, Charlie Adam comes on for Whelan, and it ended 0-0, which is, you know, a pretty boring game. Nothing really happened. It was a little bit back and forth, but as you guys can see, luck has been on my side recently. Julio Cesar there picking up 9.3 rating and man of the match, which was good. Nice to see him pick up man of the match, because he has done very well, and he's kept me in the game recently. But like I was saying, those near post goals are really starting to kill me, and I'm not too sure what I think of them, because I've definitely conceded a few, but then again, I've also scored quite a few. So they've been going back and forth there. Like I said, you know, Mattox, he's not managing to make the starting team just at the moment for the reason that he is a little bit injured, and I do feel as though I don't want to risk it again. Last time I did that, I brought him on for the last 20 minutes, and that was during his recovery process, and it just knocked him back even further, which was disappointing. But as you guys can see, there was no little bandage next to his name, so I felt a little bit more confident in putting him back into the team, and I guess I kind of assumed he was back to full fitness. I probably should have checked his energy levels, but I didn't. I just assume he's doing alright, but the combination between him and Cisse was important to have back in the squad. But that'll do it for today's episode of Career Mode. I'm looking to get another episode up. But like I said, you know, if you guys could get this video to 2,000 likes, then, you know, it just makes everyone a happy bunny. That includes you. I'll also be live streaming tonight, hopefully. I usually start those live streams at around 7:30 or, you know, a little later on, depending on what sort of football fixture is on. But on your left-hand side, previous career mode video, and on your right-hand side is a squad builder. So enjoy that. Until then, guys, I'll catch you all later, and have a fantastic day. See you guys. Bye-bye.